I saw this while scrolling on Instagram, and it says Paul Pierce claims marriage is only for the poor people and old folks and says it's a dub for men. Now, I didn't know who this guy was, so I looked him up. He's an NBA player or a former NBA player. He was married to another woman. He was married to a woman named Julie Rice, of course, and they divorced as I suspected. Because in order to say stuff like this, you had to have had a bad experience, which I know there are a lot of insecure men out there who aren't confident, who can't really approach women, who but want to, and all of that stuff. That just have low confidence, low self-esteem, right? And I see like a lot of these guys, like after looking him up, he's not a like a podcaster guru, but a lot of these podcaster gurus, these men that go on here, they have bread, you know what I'm saying? Like they take it, I feel like they take advantage of the market and the men out there that, you know, they just want to have a happy home, a happy situation. I think they take advantage of it because a lot of the advice that they give these people are like trash. Now, I'm not saying I'm out here like I'm perfect or like I have everything put together. No. All right. Right now, at times, I just be like, I like I'm an emotional wreck at times. And I'm trying not to say stuff like that. But I know that God is getting me through it. I know that I'm not perfect and there's things that I'm still working on. So I'm not about to be giving you advice on the right things to do in a marriage, but I know what not to do. And that in itself, and I feel like that's why these videos get so much attention is because they're supporting Satan's agenda, okay? Honestly, to say that marriage in a whole for a man is a dub is really reckless to say, because just because you married the wrong person, a lot of y'all like marry these women just based off of certain fact. I don't know about their lives in the past and stuff like that. A lot of these men, you know, you get into a bad situation and the next thing you know, it's the end. It's the end, right? Like they just say screw all marriage, when in reality that doesn't make sense. I used to do Uber. There was this guy that was in my back seat. Like sometimes like people just open up when you in the Uber. Like if you're Uber driver, I know you can relate because a lot of people need, you know, a lot of people want somebody to talk to and let it all out. So essentially he goes on to say he only dates black women. He doesn't marry them. He only marries white women. And so he had a wife, his ex-wife now, who was a complete bitch, okay? She and was giving him hell. So he says, he goes on to say when he was younger. So I asked him like, what made you like that? And then he says when he was younger, there was a black girl that hurt him, and then he saw Pink, the singer, on the TV, and that's what he said. He thinks he likes white girls, and since then he just knew he was never going to, ever since that black girl hurt him. And that's an excuse. Okay, you just wanted to date white women. Like, you know what I'm saying? You just wanted to be with a white woman. That's just like, don't try to make it seem like this one instance is something that dictates the entirety of the whole situation. You're not just going to date one bad girl. You're not just going to be in a situation with one bad girl and then say, screw women. What are you going to, what are you going to do next? Like, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? And to say that is like completely wild. Like, and it's crazy because just because a guy that shows up in I don't know if he's in a robe and some sunglasses, boohooing on the mic, it doesn't mean what he's saying is correct. Okay. Doesn't mean what he's saying is true at all. Poor people. Ugh, all right, but I'm gonna play the video.
I don't think so. 100%. You can't tell me nothing different. This is what I feel, and that's why I'll never be in another relationship.
Feel. Key word is feel. It's all emotional. It's funny how, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful, it's just is what it is. A lot of these men are still like boys as far as like grown man childs, okay, that still don't know how to, a lot of these men don't know how to handle their emotions. A lot of these men are just going based off of emotions, or some of these men. But like once you have to, like if you have a bad business deal, are you just gonna say screw it? Like as an entrepreneur, like I've always been have this entrepreneurial spirit to me. Are you just going to, because one business fails or whatever the case is, you're just gonna completely give up all business all together? It doesn't make sense, and it's just wild
because it's always based off of that.
So you're not going to be in another relationship?
Hell no. For what? Because it's going to be based off the, once that wear down, you're going to go find somebody else that's better.
Ladies, notice how he says find somebody else better. Like, y'all have to stop placing your value in your looks. Like, it's going to lead you to disappointment, because there's always going to be, I don't care how beautiful you are, someone who looks better, or if not, they don't even have to look better. Like, that's not going to keep a man. It's not going to hold a man. Like we need to do better.
Yeah, but it ain't gonna be based off of. This is the thing, and listen carefully. Listen carefully.
I'm listening.
Relationships. Let me tell you what marriage is all about. Or let me tell you what marriage is, and who's marriage for. Marriage is for old people and poor people.
Okay, so let's get into that. Why?
Because when you broke, our parents, like my moms and all them, they married on a merit of like, okay, we're gonna put our incomes together, have all these kids, and then when our kids, we're gonna have 5, 10 kids back in the 60s, all them, they're gonna have 5, 10 kids so they can work and bring income.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because I feel like every relationship shouldn't be based off sex, but every relationship.
And I didn't grow up in that era, but just something sound off about that, because if you look in the Bible in Genesis, it lets you know, like Adam said, a man is going to cleave onto his wife. They're going to become one flesh. If you look at society, I'm not saying that it's right, but a lot of youths that grow up and get married and they don't help their parents. Like, they don't help their parents at all. Their family is, I mean, I'm not saying that is a good thing, but if you were born in that era and you grew up in that era, let me know if there was more of a family dynamic. But as far as that, like, that don't even make sense, to just, we just gonna have kids, like, youths, just to have enough money to do this, that, and the third. Like, is that how it worked? Like, even when you got married, you still living in the same house? I mean, I know there are cultures that are like that, and that's actually, pretty smart to work together, but that's not even what's going on today. So what he's saying don't even really make sense.
Is based off of that.
I don't think so.
100%. You can't tell me nothing different. This is what I feel.
Just because you are in a relationship, because that's the thing, people don't understand that there are situations out there. There is somebody for you. They just haven't been put in your life yet. A lot of people give up and have this mentality and say, oh, all relationships are just based off of that, when that's not the case. You haven't experienced something, so therefore marriage is just a dub. It's coming from a really, emotional place, where it's just like, he's just hurt. Don't listen to this advice. Who am I? But don't listen to his advice about not getting married. And it's just, that's stupid. And if you're not going to get married, I hope that you aren't just out here fornicating, because if that's what his solution is just to sleep with women, he's just going to keep going into a revolving door and sinking himself deeper into his hurt.
You poor, so you married for that. And now when you get old, somebody that to be by your side to take care of you. Right now, my mom got married. My mom never been married in my lifetime. She got married when she was 70.
Wow.
It was perfect. She had somebody by her side the whole way through.
So do you...
I really believe that. Like, that's what, like, outside of that, it's no advantage to a man. Why is marriage advantage? What advantage?
You haven't found the help. You didn't find the virtuous woman. That's why I say a lot of people need to understand, creating that relationship with Jesus Christ. Obviously, I'm not pushing anything, but it's gonna lead to this. It's gonna lead to unhappiness. It's going to lead to unfulfillment. It's going to lead to you creating fallacies in your head based off of emotions. You need to, well, if you want, he's your creator. Like, at the end of the day, whether you believe him or not, of course you're always gonna feel unfulfilled. And it's just really sad that he's an NBA player, so a lot of men look up to him. A lot of men look up to NBA players, and him saying that, it's just supporting Satan's agenda of not wanting marriage, and women turning into more money hungry. I don't know why Julie married him. I don't know the whole background and the story, but I'm sure it was a prestigious thing to get married to an NBA player, like a lot of these women do. So, and again, like, people will disagree, but men like Kevin Samuels talking about this is what makes a high value man. I honestly believe it's a contribution to why a lot of women think that monetary things are trumps any type of value. As a woman, I know that women in general are very impressionable. So, having men say what that high value, quote unquote, man is has affected the generations.
What does it do for a man when things go south? Like, we gonna have to give up half our this, pay child support, but it's only advantageous to a woman. Like,
And men, these systems, they're created to divide Adam and Eve. They're created to benefit the woman for a reason. The government wants to be the man. The government wants to be the one in charge. And a lot of these men will call women goddesses and call them gods. And it's very interesting because in the beginning, Satan spoke to Eve and told her that, be like gods. And it's like Eve can become very prideful and in herself and deep in herself, and it's just it creates this egotistical aspect to her. So of course they're going to go against the natural order. They want women to be the men in this thing, and y'all got to stop putting these women on pedestals as if they can't do any wrong just because of the way they look. It in turn is going to affect you.
It's real talk.
But what if you meet a woman and you're like, wow, she's a gem, she's valuable, she's everything, and I want to lock her down in marriage?
I don't want to lock no woman down. We could be cool.
So you're telling me right now today, you on January 4th, you do not.
And then the woman that's interviewing, you have to understand, lady, women have been acting so vicious, money hungry, and straight up evil that men are going to get tired. I've seen some videos of men for singles events and stuff like that their men aren't showing up anymore. And that's all a part of Satan's agenda, is to separate Adam and Eve so that men could be with men and women can be with women, or men could be with robots. And this, if you look at all the things that are going on, women are addicted to vibrators. If you really think about it, you don't need to have someone else there to intimate situation, okay, even though it's really not intimate, but to get that release. You know what I'm saying? It's just contributing to the agenda. And it's really just sad to see that people don't see what's really going on. And for him to just completely if you gonna give up on marriage, you give up on marriage. Keep it to yourself. But these people, they have power, they have affluence, they have prestige, they have people that look up to them. So of course, whenever they open their mouth, there's gonna be a man that's watching this and is like, you know what? Yeah, let me just focus on the bag. I don't need a woman. I just could sleep around and whatever the case is and create broken families.
You poor, so you married for that.
Want to be in a relationship ever again?
I don't think it's realistic long term until I turn 70.
I am done.
And he says until he turns 70. Now, it made me think about Vivica A. Fox. Vivica A. Fox is 60 now? She got a BBL and clearly is just screaming that she's trying hard to hold on to her youth. She used to be very, very beautiful back in the day. She's, still a pretty woman. It's just that she's, now she's aged. Okay. She's, lost that type of beauty that she had in her prime. So, and then sin also ages you. So it's not like you're going to age super gracefully. But you see her talking about, paying somebody to marry her. She just wants to have the wedding. You know what I'm saying? People are really hurt that they didn't get married. Okay. And if you're a woman watching this, definitely don't listen to his advice, because women are based off of, their value, unfortunately, is based off of just the way that they look in the society. So if you are aged up like that, chances are you're not going to get the man that you think that you wanted to get. A lot of these women are in their 20s and they can't get the man that they thought they wanted to get. So it's why would you want to wait even longer to get a situation, to have a situation when it just doesn't make sense. So basically he's promoting sleeping around until you're 70 to how do you even know you're going to live that long? Especially with all of these different STDs that are accumulating, it just doesn't make sense.
Never been more done with
I'm 47 right now. Until I turn 70, that's the only realistic part I see, is because we both old. We ain't out in the streets. We at home watching TV. You go take me to the hospital, I'm gonna take you to the hospital. That's it. But right now, I'm too cracking right now. So what do I need to
Is it because you feel like you
I need to do all that for?
Want to be in a relationship?
It's because he has money that he's able to get the women that he can get, honestly, and he's just taking advantage of it. But that sounds like a very pitiful and tragic way to go, getting married so that we could take each other to the hospital, not to nation build, not to build legacy, not to have an established family unit, not to create a good building bonding experience. I don't know what happened with the situation between them to be able to get separated like that. But what are your thoughts on this? At the end of the day, you know, seek that relationship with Jesus Christ. Open up your Bible, even if it's a few pages a day, or try to get it in as much as you possibly can. God will guide you and bring you to the things that He wants you to do, the things that He's had for you since birth. I do have a couple books out, Value Virtue. So if you do enjoy content like this, and you want to be edified while showing your support, basically it just goes over things that the youth, they know a little bit too much, and they're not understanding the importance of marriage. Things that if I had known and understood the importance of marriage and why Satan wants us to not be married so bad, the importance of your virginity and creating an exclusivity with yourself between you and Christ until that right time, if it is in God's will to have a husband. I started watching Corn when I was 6, and ever since then, it's been a downhill slide. And that was because I was opening up certain doors to demons that came into my life and brought in the spirit of self-deletion, all of that. And then I also have another book, Melanated and Expecting. You know, Eve has always been under attack since the very beginning. To marriage has always been under attack since the very beginning. This isn't going to be your book about how to take care of a baby, how to hold a baby, you know, how to properly feed a baby. There's plenty of books out there like that. This is going to be more about, like, you know, the plots and the plans of the pharmaceutical companies, the governments, different things that if I had known, I would avoid so many consequences that I'm still dealing with today, but could have been worse, and God is getting us through. But if you enjoy content like this, you want to support for free, you can hit the like button, subscribe, share if you feel like more eyeballs and ears should be knowing about this. And, you know, be blessed.